Hello, Camp Woodstockers. My name is Major General John Gronski, U.S. Army, retired. Now, I'm glad to spend a few moments with you today. We have Memorial Day weekend upon us, and of course, Memorial Day is the time when we recognize the ultimate sacrifice that many of our military personnel have made so we could all live in a free country. I'm aware this year that many of the Woodstock families who would come to Camp Woodstock on Memorial Day weekend will not be able to come to Camp Woodstock this Memorial Day because of the COVID pandemic. But I still want to encourage you to continue to remember and recognize that ultimate sacrifice of our fallen warriors. I have an inspiring story I'd like to share with you. I served as a brigade commander in Ramadi, Iraq in 2005 and 2006. And in my brigade, I commanded approximately 5,000 American soldiers and Marines. And when I was in Ramadi, one of the people I had to engage with on a regular basis was the governor of Al Anbar province. His name was Governor Mamoon. And Governor Mamoon is what we call in the military a high-value target, but in a good way, because he was an Iraqi who supported, for the most part, our military operations in Ramadi. So we knew we had to protect him. There came a time when Mamoon needed to have a medical procedure conducted. And Ramadi was a very violent, chaotic place. And because Ramadi was so dysfunctional, we had to have Governor Mamoon transported about 2 hours east to the city of Baghdad to an American military medical treatment facility there. And Governor Mamoon was gone for about 2 weeks, and he came back to Ramadi, and as soon as he got back to Ramadi, he sent a message to my headquarters, and he asked me to come and see him at his office at the government center. Now, Governor Mamoon had this huge office, and he always had a large entourage in his office, about 20 sheikhs and then about 15 other government staffers that he would always have around him. And when I arrived at his office, he asked everybody to leave. The only 3 people remaining in Governor Mamoon's office was Governor Mamoon, myself, and my interpreter. And Mamoon came and he sat down alongside of me, and he took my hand in his hand. And for anybody who knows anything about Arab culture, when an Arab man takes another man's hand in his, it's a sign of trust and a sign of respect. And that was the first time Mamoon ever did that with me. And he looked into my eyes and he said, Colonel Gronski, many times you have sat here in my office and you've talked to me about American values. And you've talked to me about the values of your soldiers and your Marines. And I never really knew exactly what you were trying to tell me. But when I was in Baghdad at that American medical treatment facility there, I saw a wounded insurgent being brought into the trauma center. And I watched how hard your American medics and nurses and doctors worked to save the life of this insurgent. And I could not believe how hard you Americans struggled to save the life of one of your enemies. And he said, now I finally know what you were trying to tell me about American values. And then he went on to talk to me about some of the values I had spoken to him about. He said, you've talked to me about dignity and respect, and how you Americans show dignity and respect not only to your families and to your friends, but even to strangers and even to your adversaries. And he said, you've talked to me about integrity and how Americans are honest and they will do the right thing even when no one is watching. And then he said, you've talked to me about personal courage, and you didn't talk just about physical courage. You talked about moral courage too, and how Americans will stand by their principles that they hold dear. And I was very, very proud that Governor Mamoon finally understood what American values were all about. So a message to you all. As we get ready to remember the sacrifice of those who gave their lives for our country during this Memorial Day weekend. I'd like you to think about ways that you could serve others. And the YMCA teaches young people the YMCA values. And to the young people who will not be able to come to the overnight camping this summer at Camp Woodstock, find ways to help and to serve others. I like to say you don't have to be wearing a military uniform in order to serve your country. So again, to the young people, look for ways to serve your community, your state, and your nation. You don't have to wear a military uniform in order to do so. To the counselors who are at Camp Woodstock every year, for the overnight camping, coaching and mentoring young people so they could develop the YMCA values and live by the YMCA values. You won't be at the overnight camping this particular summer. But again, to you, I encourage you to find other ways in your community that you could help young people, that you could mentor and coach young people in the community. You don't have to be at Camp Woodstock in order to do that. So again, to everyone, thank you for observing Memorial Day this year. Thank you for remembering the ultimate sacrifice that our fallen warriors made. So may God bless our fallen warriors and their families, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.